Oh shit, man. It is the AFC Championship. The season's almost over. Where did it go, man? This is crazy. Every year.
It was a pretty quick one, but it was an exciting one, man. I was kind of skeptical at first with the 17-game season. I thought we were going to kind of get a diluted product a little bit here, but these playoffs have been spectacular. I'm really glad that the Bengals were able to make it in, and they won their division, right? So it's a little bit different, but I'm excited for this one, man. I think if we learned anything last weekend, we can't really count anyone out.
No, you can't. I mean, by the way, this is Bengals versus KFC showdown. KFC. Yeah, hey. KC, I had a drink or two. It's all right. Bengals at Kansas City. Chiefs -7.5. We can't rule Bengals out. You just can't. In fact, I think they got a shot. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, if we look at what the Bills did to the Chiefs, I'm not going to go out there and say that Joe Burrow is on the same level as Josh Allen is right now. But I also don't really know where to place Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
he's had a terrific year, and he's been terrific since when he's been able to play. So I think that this receiving core, if Gabe Davis, like, no offense to Gabe Davis, but if Gabe Davis can go off for all pro type day, like,
Jerry Rice
why can't Tyler Boyd do that coming out of the slot? Or why wouldn't T. Higgins do that? Like, there's a lot more weapons to cover.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited for this game, man. This is gonna be a lot of fun, I think.
This is gonna be great, man. I can't wait. Burrow is like, he's such a badass, man. Is there anybody, like, besides the people in Missouri and maybe in the Midwest surrounding states, is there anyone rooting for the Chiefs in this game? Like, it's such a good story to see Burrow and the Bengals make it to the Super Bowl. It's like the U.S. versus KC in this game, don't you think?
Yeah, no, it's what the U.S. hockey team versus the Russian hockey team. No, I think that was more Chiefs versus Brady a couple years or last year or whatever. But no, I'm excited for this, man. I think there's going to be a lot of people rooting for Cincinnati. I was joking in the podcast. I'm trying to convince my fiance to drive down to Cincinnati and just go to one of their sports bars there. It would be kind of a crazy environment just to watch it. Like, I got to watch the NFC Championship game with a bunch of people who've never done it before, right? So that's fun.
That would be fun. I mean, what is it, a 2-hour drive or something for you?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you got to do it, man. You got to.
They can go to the fucking aquarium or something.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be tough, man. Just building for this. When it comes to Showdown specifically, the pricing is real tight. You're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to punt if you're going, popular or expensive at captain. And there's just not a lot of value. There's a guy like Darrell Williams who's questionable at 1,200, but we don't know what, he was full practice earlier in the week, and then he's limited practice. A few weeks ago, we thought he was going to start, even though he was active, and he didn't even play, really. He got a fumble, and nothing happened. So a guy like Darrell Williams is kind of our only value that I'm kind of really comfortable with. But I don't even know if he's going to play because we got a healthy Jerick McKinnon and a healthy Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So when it comes to value, I don't know, man. This is going to be tough to build. So we're going to get through this together. We're going to try to figure out the best ways. In my opinion, just right off the bat, like, just first look at it, you got to do a lower price captain.
Yeah.
You kind of got to. I mean, you start with Kelsey and go down when it comes to pricing. That's just kind of might be the way to do it this week. All right, so let's look at these lines here. So, man, this is crazy. KC is -356 on the money line. 54.5 total, -7.5 point favorites, and this is going to be a barn burner, man. Do you agree? I mean, do you see any possible way that this can hit the under, or just kind of be like a slow pace game based on what we've seen the last few weeks?
I don't think we'll see a slow pace game. I do think it can hit the under because Cincinnati's playing much better than their offensive line. they're winning games despite their offensive line, right? So at a certain point, that is going to catch up with them. Could it be Kansas City's pass rush? If it is, then there's a chance that they come out of this game scoring 10, 13 points, and Kansas City kind of just throttles it down around 28. So I think there's an opportunity for it to hit the under, but I don't think it will. I'm more excited to see kind of Joe Burrow have to lead this team, probably down by 10 in the fourth quarter, and see what happens there. I mean, again, this could easily be one of those like visions into the future that we had last weekend with Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. We could see Pat Mahomes and Joe Burrow going at it for the next 5 to 10 years. So I don't know, man. I'm just excited. I think the game can go either way. But I do think that there's a really good chance that Cincinnati's offensive line catches up with them here.
Dude, 9 times. Dude got shot 9 times. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, how is it possible that they won that game? It's just crazy. They need to figure something else out, man. They got to figure something out this week. Because, look, you got a decent pass rush. You got Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Jaron Reed, 4 sacks and 10 quarterback hits in their Week 17 matchup. Now, the good news is they played a few weeks ago, really. So I know that was in Cincinnati, and I'm pretty sure Cincinnati clinched the division with that win at that point. But, I mean, look, they played each other a few weeks ago in a game that mattered. So we can kind of compare some things. That was a game that Jamar Chase absolutely went ham. And also, Burrow threw for 400-something yards in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, these coaches are smart. They're going to figure things out. They're going to adjust. But you got to kind of expect something similar, right? I mean, Mahomes didn't do too well. Could we see something similar here? I don't know, man. I don't know. So let's talk about injuries real quick. There's not a whole lot to talk about here. Like I had mentioned before, you got a guy like Darrell Williams, questionable. Like I said, he practiced full earlier in the week, limited lately. He might be the kind of guy. Is that mule nasty without the copper cup?
It's not the copper cup. It's 90% vodka, and I'm slowly adding more ginger beer as to kind of meet that equilibrium.
By the way, when you guys are watching this is Saturday morning, or whenever you get to this. We're recording this Friday night. We're not getting drunk in the morning, okay?
And even if we were, don't judge us.
Who cares? Who cares? Exactly. I don't know. What the hell was I talking about?
Injuries.
Darrell Williams, I don't know what's going to happen with him. It's risky. Yeah. If I had to lean one way, if he's active, I might just stay away from him completely. Because you got Jerick McKinnon and you got CEH. And that's the real debate there. And we'll get to that in a minute. But for me, Darrell Williams, a guy who came out against the Bengals, and I think he had a good game, man. He had 25 fantasy points, 14 carries, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. And so he might not see the field in this game. Besides that, the injuries, there's not a whole lot else to talk about. Kind of a big deal here, though. Tyrann Mathieu is still questionable with concussion. When he left that game, they absolutely tore him apart. So if he can play, I think he's a huge difference maker in this game. If he's cleared to play, I think they can really figure things out a little bit more. They're not the best pass defense, obviously, but you're missing your best guy back there. If you're looking out for something on Sunday morning when we get inactives, are you going to change your strategy at all if Tyrann Mathieu is out? Does he move the needle that much?
I mean, I think it kind of opens up a little bit more opportunity for CJ Uzomah. And yeah, I think it does move the needle a little bit for me offensively with the Bengals. Tyrann Mathieu is an impact player, and he's able to make plays on the defense that are pretty unique. So not having him out there should be pretty impactful. I mean, god damn, we saw Gabriel Davis have 1,000 receiving yards and 15 touchdowns, and they still lost. I don't know. I'm gonna watch that game tomorrow, I think. I'm just gonna watch it again.
It's so sad because our boy C Gage in the Discord pointed this out. We've been on Gabe Davis the entire year. Every single freaking Bills game, we've been like, play Gabe Davis, play Gabe Davis. We didn't do a show for this particular game. I wish we would have, because maybe I would have focused a little bit more on Gabe Davis. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any of him at captain, and that makes me super depressed. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into the breakdown here.
Break it down.
All right, guys. So we're going position by position. Help us out. Subscribe, like. We appreciate it. Patrick Mahomes, 11.2K. Joe Burrow, 10.4K. You got to have both these quarterbacks, don't you? I mean, are you stupid enough to fade one? I mean, that will make you instantly different, and you can kind of do whatever the hell you want. It's tempting, but you're talking about two guys that can absolutely hit a 30 burger without even barely rolling out of bed.
Yeah, I'm going to be trying to play both quarterbacks. I don't have any groundbreaking analysis on this. I pretty much just talked about how these are two of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL for the 5 minutes in the intro. So I'm going to do whatever I can to get to both of these guys. I think you're fine pairing them with one receiver. Both guys, I don't think you need to get multiple. As long as you have both, I think you're solid. I mean, obviously, like what we saw the other night with Gabe Davis, if you see a middling pass catcher to pair either guy up with that has the opportunity to get those extra touchdowns, you're going to need that guy in your lineup as well. But I think, like, for example, I think you're better off playing Pat Mahomes. And if you are absolutely forced to fade Hill and Kelsey, for example, I think you're fine to do that. I think you need to prioritize the quarterbacks in this particular matchup.
Yeah, totally, man. Like, look, Patrick Mahomes absolutely carved up the best defense in the NFL, the Bills last week. Absolutely annihilated. He
made it look easy, too. You see that slider pass throw that he had? Like, come on, man.
He's making it look easy, man, despite his wife and his brother. He's finding ways. He's finding ways to absolutely dominate. Joe Burrow has been crushing as well. I mean, that, like I said, that game they played earlier in week 17, dude had, let's look at his numbers here. 37 fantasy points, 30 for 39, 446, 4 touchdowns, and he got sacked 4 times. They still won the game. Man, I don't even know what to say here, man. Like the Bengals defense really has only played 3 like elite quarterbacks, and you could put Herbert potentially in that like A-list sort of quarterback room. Herbert, Rodgers, Mahomes. That's really the only like really good quarterbacks they played this year, and they're still middle of the road when it comes to pass defense. So this could be an opportunity for Mahomes to come out and put up a quick amount of passing yards. And we always talk about this when we do a Mahomes show, when they're favored especially. Is there a reason to maybe fade Mahomes just because the game can get out of hand quick? In this particular case, I just don't see it happening. I see this to be a shootout, and I think you're going to need Patty. And if anything, maybe Burrow maybe gets a little bit less ownership than Mahomes for me. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm still going to try and have both guys. If I don't have either quarterback, it's going to be a very intentional build. Where I have Pat in a 3 stack, and then maybe Joe Mixon and like Jamar Chase, if I think that's where the production is going to be concentrated. But I just think it's too hard to come off both quarterbacks. And the other thing that we saw last week that we haven't seen from the Chiefs offense most of the season, and honestly I kind of agree with it, is Pat Mahomes running the ball. That adds a new dimension to kind of the must-need play that he generally is. When he's scrambling and he gets those rushing touchdowns, you're absolutely dead in the water if he tears it up, because he has a rushing touchdown on a 350 and a 4 touchdown day. You're done. You're done. Absolutely done. You're done. Honestly, this is a day to consider like a Pat Mahomes captain, and then Joe Burrow and 4 other Bengals. Just run it back with 5, right? Yeah. You can just throw stuff like that together. So, all right, we should probably talk about some other positions. So, I'll talk about these quarterbacks all day.
But look, even like in that game, he had 2 passing touchdowns and 20 fantasy points. You're right. If he gets a rushing touchdown in this game, I mean, hey, I want to look at the odds for first touchdown for him. It might be worth it. All right, so let's go to running back here. You're right. We could spend all freaking show on this. Joe Mixon, 9K. Samaje Perine, 2,200. Look, Joe Mixon might be the kind of forgotten guy in this matchup. Mm-hmm. With such a heavy pass rush, with such a heavy pass attack in this game, you figure all the receivers, the quarterbacks, tight ends, they're going to be super heavily owned. A guy like Joe Mixon at 9K, you might just not be able to fit him in. He's probably going to be less than 35% owned, maybe under 40%. Could be an interesting captain choice as well here. So thoughts on Joe Mixon? Is this like a super contrarian play? Even though he's a great player, it's not like he can't have a good game, but just the game script might not work out for him.
Yeah, there's a good chance the game script might not work out for him, but I think we start to see a new level of his involvement in the offense. He's really making some progress in his ability to get involved in the pass game. I mean, he had 7 targets against Tennessee, 6 receptions, 51 yards. Week before, 5. Didn't play against Cleveland, and then Kansas City, he had eight targets again for 7 receptions. So that's a different factor that kind of I think we need to take into account. I'm going to be keeping an eye on his ownership. If he falls around 30 to 35%, I think I'm going to be closer to 50% right with him. I don't necessarily know if you need to go all out on all the pass catchers on this slate. Joe Mixon is a pretty good running back, and he can take a lot of stress off of the Cincinnati team in general just by getting 20, 25 carries, even if he's only averaging 3.5 yards per carry, right? That takes a lot of stress off of one of the best offenses in the NFL. So I love Joe Mixon. I'm going to have a pretty solid amount of exposure to him. It's going to be hard though, because that means you are going to have to fade a guy like T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, or Hill or Kelsey.
Yeah.
Again, I don't hate the 1-5 run back, right? So if I'm going Pat Mahomes, I can go Joe Burrow, Mixon, Higgins, and maybe punt 2 other spots and really not be too upset with it.
Yeah. Last game, week 17, he had 15 fantasy points, 12 rushes, 46 yards, 8 targets, 7 receptions, 40 yards. He's getting involved in the pass game. Look, typically speaking, like this number 2 running backs, even number 3 guys sometimes on Showdown, you can consider a guy like Samaje Perine at 2,200. He just doesn't get the volume. You might see him maybe get a couple of opportunities. He might get 2 or 3 opportunities to do something, and if he doesn't hit on those 3 opportunities, you're done for. Maybe sprinkle him in. He's probably going to be less than 10% owned, but who knows? He can get a vulture touchdown reception or something randomly. I wouldn't take him out of your player pool, but I wouldn't go too heavy on him. Let's move over to KC. This one's going to be fun to talk about. So Jerick McKinnon's 5K. If we truly believe that he's the number 1 guy and he's going to get most of the touches, that's a great freaking price for him. And he should be super high owned. But do we truly believe that? Like, CEH, he's their first round pick. He's been hurt. He's the guy that they want to get involved. Jerick McKinnon's a journeyman veteran running back that probably is on a 1-year deal. I mean, they're going to play the best player they can, but if you had to choose between both of these guys, if you're the coaching staff, don't you go with CEH in a game like this?
Yeah, I think you normally would, but Jerick McKinnon's look pretty good, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's just filling in.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, no, it doesn't look like Jerick McKinnon's just filling in, man. He's looked pretty good. I think he's going to continue to get run. And Seth's still a little young, right? Like, he still has some fumbling concerns. I think he might get staggered and still have probably see like a 40 to 50% workload with McKinnon still getting carries. I think the absolute best way to attack this is you're on a couple lineups with Seth captain, right? At 7K, he's a really good captain choice. You can probably throw in some stuff that you want. And then probably fade him in the flex altogether. And then I'll probably prioritize Jerick McKinnon when it comes to my flex running back, just because he's at the 5K price tag.
Yeah.
But 7K is too risky for me for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to be in my flex and give me 8 points. But if he's in captain, I'm pretty much not worried about those lineups. But if he scores 2 touchdowns and has 100 rushing yards, then I'm solid. It's a nice little hedge.
Bro, there's a chance he could be under 15% owned. And that just, man, are you kidding me, man? Like 7K, I get it, but come on. Like, that just really makes me super interested in playing him. I know it's a risk. I could be burning my money, but like I said, he's the guy this year. He is the guy. Yeah. As long as he's healthy, we don't know what Andy Reid's going to do. Yeah. I mean, look, like we all saw the Darrell Williams active a few weeks ago, and then Jerick McKinnon comes out and looks like Priest fucking Holmes. And that surprised everybody. And look, I've been talking about Jerick McKinnon on and off throughout the year as a nice little side piece guy, but not the number one dude. So in my opinion, I think you got to get some exposure to McKinnon, obviously. But CH, man, 7K, possibly under 15% owned. I don't know. To me, that's just super obvious. Just play. I'm going to play the hell out of him. And if I look, they don't run the ball too much. So I get it. And by playing the hell out of him, I might have 25-30%, and then I might have some at captain. But I got to consider.
If he's at 10-15%, that's double the field. I mean, that's not terrible.
Exactly. All right, so let's go to wide receiver here. Oh, Tyreek Hill with one of the. It's almost you almost forget about the moment with the peace sign to take the lead there with like what, a minute left or something in that game. We talked about it in the podcast, but man, best game I've ever watched. Man, that was just unbelievable to watch that. But Tyreek Hill's 10.8K. He got kind of shut down in that last matchup. I'm not giving credit to the Bengals necessarily on that. Maybe just it wasn't his game. He had 10 fantasy points, but he still had 10 targets, 6 receptions, 40 yards. You're going to have to get Tyreek or Kelsey in your lineups. Make a rule. Do whatever you got to do. If you're a psychopath, don't play both of them. That could make you different. But let's just talk about Tyreek here first. He's a boom or bust kind of player, unfortunately, lately. Typically, before he wasn't. He was kind of like a guy you can lock in, like a Cooper Kupp kind of guy. But what are your thoughts on him this game? He's going to be around 40% owned, and he probably is going to be low owned in the captain spot.
I think he's going to be low owned in the captain spot. I think people are going to kind of probably lean a little bit more towards Jamar Chase just because of what he did to the team last time. I think Tyreek Hill is kind of in a smash spot. Honestly, I think I might disagree with you a little bit on the captain play. I think he might be more of a lock in my flex plays, and I might kind of just figure stuff out elsewhere. I'm going to have a little bit more exposure to him than I do Kelsey in the flex. Again, like what I saw from the Chiefs last week, they're on one. They're ready to go. They've been holding back pretty much this season, I think. And they're kind of just letting it loose during the playoffs. And it's kind of hard to get past that. This might be a little bit of recency bias, I'm not going to lie, but it's kind of hard to get past the confidence that it takes to really throw up the peace sign. Dude, he was 20 yards away. It's not like he was 8 yards away from the end zone. He was 20. The dude was in front of him. They had 8 yards to the sideline and about 18 yards to the end zone. The dude puts up the peace sign. Like, bro, there's no way your acceleration is that fast, and bam, it's a touchdown.
It's incredible.
Blink. Yeah, I don't see how he doesn't get targeted here, right? Like, there's no way that he doesn't have at least 100 yards. I love Tyreek Hill. I'm going to be prioritizing the hell out of him.
I like Tyreek Hill in this game more so than I do Kelsey for the first time maybe ever, just because Kelsey's always so much cheaper. But man, Tyreek, he's going against not a great defense here, man. I really want to prioritize him, and if he comes in lower owned at the captain spot, I might just lock him into 60-70% of my lineups with him at captain. All right, so let's talk about the law firm of Pringle, Hardman, and Robinson here. Pringle 5,200, Hardman 4,600, Demarcus Robinson 3K. I think we can all agree that probably Demarcus Robinson is our least favorite here, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to play him. He scored a touchdown in that last game against Cincinnati. Byron Pringle, he sort of took over that number 2 role, and then we saw Mecole Hardman sort of come back and take that over with some rushing attempts and some more targets. I mean, we have to kind of – these guys always screw up a slate. They always do, because one of them always scores a touchdown. So what do we do here, man? Who's your favorite? And should we just roll dice? Should we go to the roulette table and whoever's number comes up, we play them? I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, I don't want to be a Mecole Hardman homer, but again, what I saw last week, it looks like Andy Reid's utilizing him effectively and was able to find a way to get him the ball. That end around there it was for a touchdown, right? It was a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, he had a touchdown last week. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was on a jet sweep or end around or something like that.
Which we've been talking about. He's been getting a lot of those opportunities.
Right, and that's exactly what you need from him to be successful. So again, I think that we're in the playoffs now. Be prepared for that random bullshit that Andy Reid likes to run. And to be fair, like it's been a pretty quiet year from the Chiefs. Like they've been explosive, but we haven't seen their random crap that they like to do. And we saw a little bit more of that last week. So I like Mecole Hardman, and then Byron Pringle and Demarcus Robinson. I'm going to keep it real simple, and then I'm going to wrap it up here. Right, play these guys. Rotate them in your lineups as best you can. Don't prioritize them, but make sure you have some.
Don't forget about them. Don't forget about them because they're middle priced here. Pringle at 5,200, Mecole Hardman at 4,600. You just kind of forget about them. They don't have great value. Price per fantasy point. It's just you kind of forget about these guys and you just can't. And I would not be surprised if Mecole Hardman is lined up in the backfield with Mahomes and CEH. Or McKinnon, maybe a couple of direct snaps, or just something weird. I think we're going to see it this week from them. All right, let's go to the other side. This is, man, have we seen 3 wide receivers that can absolutely crush? I mean, look at this. Jamar Chase, 10K. T. Higgins, 7,800. Tyler Boyd, 4,800. Man.
This is going to be another week where I have like 90% Tyler Boyd exposure.
Oh, my God. Yeah. You have to. And at captain. I mean, Captain Tyler Boyd, you can pretty much look. We'll talk about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in a second here, but we got to find some value. 4,800 for Tyler Boyd. I'd rather play Tyler Boyd than McKinnon, in my opinion. And you're talking about a guy at one point had 4 straight weeks with a touchdown. I don't know, man. That price tag I built with him at captain earlier, and you could fit in everybody who you want in the flex, and you don't have to worry about it. T. Higgins, 7,800. A guy that can absolutely crush, big playability. Jamar Chase, we know what he can do. Look, you got to try to fit him in. It's going to be hard, though, man. I think there is a chance that Jamar Chase and T. Higgins ownership in the flex comes near each other. I really do think that because I don't think that you could fit Jamar Chase into too many of your lineups. You're going to have to spread things out. So thoughts here, how do we handle this? You got to kind of consider if you're fading Jamar Chase in a lineup, you have to put one of these guys in your lineup. You just have to. So this entire season you've asked me about rules and kind of using optimizers, right? And for the most part, I don't use rules. This might be one of those slates where I have a rule to force in one of these guys minimum, right? I honestly don't give a shit. I take that back. I don't want Mike Thomas or Dave Thomas, founder from whatever the Wendy's. Yeah, Wendy's dude is. I don't necessarily want that guy. Now, granted, at $200, if they really only have 4 active wide receivers going in on Sunday, I'll punt the fuck at a Dave Thomas, right? And throw him in at $200 so I can get Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill. So, like, don't get me wrong. If we don't get a punt option, 4 active wide receivers, I'm all over it. Okay, that said, play them. I don't know what anybody else expects to hear on this particular part of the segment here. T. Higgins can have 250 yards. Tyler Boyd, we saw what he was doing as the back or the number 2 to AJ Green a couple years ago, right? Tyler Boyd could easily be a 1 or 2 on any other team. He's playing the number fucking 3 wide receiver with Joe Burrow, right? Like at $4,800, dude, I play him at captain. You can throw Jamar Chase, probably get Burrow and Hill in the same lineup, and then just rotate out some cheap plays. So I think you set a rule if you're using an optimizer, set a rule to have at least one of these guys in every single lineup. Maybe even 2 if you're feeling crazy and feel like fading the running games. But that's kind of where I am on this one. I'm interested to see how Tyler Boyd builds with him at captain. T. Higgins at 7,800, though. That's an interesting captain play for me, too. He just has such a high ceiling. Yeah. And like I said, if I'm not playing Jamar Chase in a lineup, I'm absolutely playing most likely T. Higgins, but at least Tyler Boyd. It's going to happen. All right, let's we got wide receiver, right? Let's move over. Let's go to tight end here. CJ Uzomah, 5,600. This is the kind of guy that can break a slate. We've seen it. You can probably expect, 4 or 5 targets, couple receptions, and probably potentially 1 touchdown out of him. He's a solid pick at 5,600. But look, the fact that Tyler Boyd's 48, and Uzoma is 56. It kind of scares me a little bit, but I love CJ Uzoma. And his last 2 games, 18 fantasy points, 14 fantasy points, getting good targets and getting good opportunities. You gotta go out of your way to make sure you fit him in, because he's, like I said earlier, that $4,000 to $5,000 range. Unless they're projected well, you're probably not going to see a lot of them unless you try to force them in.
All right, I don't want to be too fangirly here, but like the relationship that Joe Burrow and CJ Uzomah are kind of building, and the connections and just the kind of energy that you see on the field. They passed the eye test together, I guess, over the past couple of weeks, right? I've been watching the Bengals game specifically, just because I really do enjoy Joe Burrow and some of those wide receivers. So it's been interesting kind of seeing how him and Uzomah have been growing together and really building that relationship and chemistry. I think he's mispriced. I think he should probably be closer to 7,000, just because he does have the ability to go out there and get 2 touchdowns. He can get, I mean, look at that, 18-4, 14-10. And I get we can call it recency bias, but this is the playoffs. You're not changing what's working. If that chemistry is working, you're going to keep throwing to CJ Uzomah. So I love him. I even think he makes for a unique captain play, which is sure is a shocker.
Oh yeah, and look, like we were talking about in the opener, if Tyrann Mathieu's out, I think it helps CJ Uzomah quite a bit, along with the rest of the wide receivers. But I think you get a nice boost for Uzomah. All right, let's talk about Kelsey here. So he's 8,800 for some reason. DraftKings just wants us to, smash this guy into every one of our lineups. He's 88 freaking hundred. He's going to be a nice captain option at that price. There's nothing to talk about here. He's fucking Travis Kelsey, man. 44 fantasy points against the Chargers. 28, 23. He only had 13 against Cincinnati last time. Doesn't scare me away from him. Come on, right? Travis Kelsey, all day.
Yes. I like Hill. Look, I like Hill a little bit more. I know he's priced up today or for Sunday, but I really think that there's going to be a little bit of leverage to get from just spending up for Tyreek Hill over Travis Kelsey. But that does not mean I do not want Travis Kelsey. If I do not have Tyreek Hill in a lineup, Travis Kelsey is 99% likely to be in the other lineup.
So remind me, when we're building, we got to try to do the Holy Trinity: Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill. I don't think it's a bad option in this, because I don't think a lot of people are going to do it in this game. There's just too many other good players, and you just can't do it unless you completely punt at captain. Blake Bell 200, Noah Gray 800. Noah Gray, I don't mind a couple random lineups with him. I mean, we saw a nice catch from him in the last game. He had 2 targets, 2 receptions. It's a complete punt. Don't get me wrong. And both Blake Bell and Noah Gray are punts, but we got to find some value here. And this is the kind of slate where you see a random tight end. We haven't seen it lately, but showdown slates mostly this year. You see some random ass tight end score a touchdown. It just happens almost every week. Blake Bell, Noah Gray. Don't forget about them. They're going to be 5% owned or something like that. Try to plug him in a little bit. Try to have like one lineup with him. What was the Rams dude who Kendall Hinton? Yep. Had a touchdown, and man, I swear to God I had a lineup with him, but I guess I didn't lock him in. But that my point is, don't forget about these backup tight ends. All right, so kickers, are we Harrison Butker 4,200, Evan McPherson, ice in his veins, 4K rookie. Both of these kickers are solid. Is this a situation where we want to rely on kickers? Can the kickers, if we're talking about a game that hits 54 plus points, how much of that volume comes from 50-yard field goals, in your opinion?
It can. This is a slate where if you have a 4K guy get 15 fantasy points from kicking field goals, he's going to probably be in the optimal, right? 4K is pretty important. So think about it this way: if Evan McPherson kicks 3 field goals You got a 30, a 40, and a 50. That's 9, 12, and then they score 4 touchdowns. That's 4 extra points. That's 16 points right there, which isn't entirely implausible in this scenario. So here's my take. Play 1, you're fine. Don't play 2. That's god awful. Play none, you're still probably fine.
My question here would be, would you rather pay up $400 or $600 to get up to Mecole Hardman or even Tyler Boyd at $4,800, or save a couple bucks and just go down to Chiefs or Bengals or Demarcus Robinson at $3K? I kind of would prefer the kickers in this matchup just because there's not a lot of value below them that I'm comfortable with. So more so than usual. Earlier in the year, I've sort of my mantra was sort of like, fuck the kickers. If the kickers beat me, so what? Lately, I've sort of adapted a little bit, especially with the tighter pricing lately that we've seen. You got to kind of try to fit them in, at least be with the field, because 11 fantasy points, 13, 14 fantasy points from a guy at 4K, that's probably going to get you in the optimal unless we get an absolute shootout.
There is one thing I do want to say, though. There is another thing to consider with the kickers in this game. This is a playoff game. It's the AFC Championship. We could see more aggressiveness in the coaching decisions in those analytical situations that we've been hearing about all season, especially from the Bengals. We know that Zach Taylor is going to be aggressive in those, but you could lose an extra field goal opportunity because you're going for it on 4th and 2 at 35-yard line. So just stuff to keep in mind. This is it, right? You win this game, you go to the Super Bowl. You leave, you lose, you go home. So kickers could be moot. They could just be trying to score all day.
Yeah, these guys are going to die on the field if they have to, because AFC Championship is a big difference from making the Super Bowl. That's a damn fact. Chiefs defense, 3,600. Bengals defense, 3,400. I don't know, man. Look, I'm not going to have any Bengals defense, and of course they're probably going to score a blocked kick or interception for touchdown. That's always how it goes. The defense that you literally have none of and you think it's impossible, they always do something. I don't care. I'm not going to do it. But with the Chiefs at 3,600, I think I'm going to consider just getting a little bit of the Chiefs because they do have a dynamic pass rush. And we know about Burrow. We know about their offensive line. You can probably expect 3 or 4 sacks at minimum. And maybe a pick, maybe a fumble or something. So you can consider it, especially at 3,600. I'm just, if they score 30, if they give up 30 points or something, they got to have a touchdown. And I don't know. Who knows if it happens? You agree?
I agree.
All right, man. Let's get to the fades. This is actually a good segue here. Let's do it, man. You're going Cincy defense fading. I'm not. Me personally, I don't even want to think about the fading because it's too crazy. My advice would be if you give a fuck about what I think, which you probably shouldn't, but if you do, you get as many lineups as humanly possible. 10-cent 20 maxes, 25-cent 20 maxes, $1 20 maxes, whatever your bankroll allows for. Get as many lineups as you can, and don't forget about anybody, because this is the kind of game where some random ass dude at 4K could score 2 touchdowns. Absolutely. All right, you ready to move on here?
Let's do it.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Crowning their ass. Ellie, Kelsey, no surprise there. I'm going Tyler Boyd because of great price. Any reason to talk about Kelsey here? I mean, come on. He's what was he, 8,800? That's crazy.
Just watch one of the 15 Chiefs shows we've done this season.
Yeah, exactly. Tyler Boyd is at 4,800, man. I don't know. Well, they had to give us something. Yeah. DraftKings had to do something for us here on this game. And I think Boyd is a solid option. Now, this is a tournament play. Don't go putting Tyler Boyd in your cash lineups or your head-to-heads or whatever. Maybe. I mean, if you're ballsy, do it. But stick with the top end guys for those kind of lineups. But for tournaments with 100,000+ entries, man, Boyd is a nice option. All right, let's go to our lineup build here. This is going to be interesting. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this. I'm in no rush here. Let's try to do this right here. All right. So let's hit the optimize button and see what happens. We got Jackson Mahomes at captain, Harrison Butker, McKinnon, Boyd, Kelsey, Burrow. So
I would run this lineup.
So no Hill here, and no Jamar Chase. But I mean, you just can't do it all the time. Mahomes at captain, we talked about it. It's a great option, but he's going to be the number 2 highest owned, or maybe probably the number 1 highest owned, don't you think, captain?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so in my opinion, I'm going to try to focus on some other guys here. So,
can we try something? Excuse me. Let's try something real quick. Let's start with I actually do want to start with Pat Mahomes at captain. Let's see how hard it is to build a 1-5.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, I liked what you were talking about here. So Patty at captain. Let's go all,
Joey.
Let's go all Bengals.
Let's
Joe
go
Mixon.
T and Tyler.
T and Tyler. Can we do Joe Mixon too? No, we can't.
And then what happens? So throw in Dave Thomas and I guess Evan McPherson.
Dave Thomas. Look, Mike Thomas is going to get you a 0 probably. Like, I would say a 90% chance he gets a 0.
Well, that's Tyler Boyd. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Chase.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was going to say we could get... that if you put in Jamar Chase, we still get Tyler Boyd. You can run all 3 if you want. Run Joe Burrow and the entire receiver core.
Dude, holy shit. All right. I don't hate this at all. This is kind of nice. That's crazy. Their entire active roster of receivers.
All right.
Let's
take
do
out Chase. Yeah. Go to Mixon.
Let's try Mixon here. 10K. Let's actually get rid of Mike Thomas here. Let's go with Mixon, and let's see what we got left. 1.2K. So that gets us, our boy Darrell Williams. We don't know if he's going to play or not, but you wanted to do a 1.5. Chris Evans. That's a little risky, but I think Chris Evans is a better option than Mike Thomas, Dave Thomas.
Yeah, I don't mind Captain America in this situation.
So this is the kind of lineup you got to get crazy with. Now, where do we?
You want to do the same thing with Joe Burrow real quick?
Let's do it real quick.
Bro, I love building these lineups. Like, I'm serious. These are fun lineups to build.
These contests are going to be huge, though. So if you're doing $1 20 maxes and 200,000 people or whatever it is, I haven't even looked yet. They're going to be freaking huge. You got to do this kind of shit. All right, so let's do. Can we do Kelsey and Hill without Mahomes, or do you want to do Mahomes too?
Let's see if we can get the Holy Triumvirate. Like, do we have enough money to do that? Can we throw in?
I don't know.
Let's throw in Dave Thomas and Chris Evans.
Well,
okay.
You want to do the other way. You wanted to go KC, right?
All right. Well, yeah, but if we're throwing in the Holy Three, I might be willing to. But no, that's going to be a pretty chalky build. So let's see.
Yeah, you're right. It might be. But like I said, dude, I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people are going the Holy Trinity. I don't think they're doing it.
So throw in Darrell Williams. What does that give us?
2,400. 24. Samaje Perine.
Derek Gore.
Derek Gore. That's crazy. You're
what about
hoping
this?
For an injury. You're hoping for like 2 injuries.
Throw in remove both, and what's our salary?
36. So
3,600.
So you can get Demarcus Robinson and can you do Blake Bell or one of those assholes?
I'm fine with that. Demarcus Robinson and Blake Bell.
Yeah, that's not terrible actually. You got a lot of pass catchers here, man. All right, so let's take out Kelsey here, and let's go with one of the running backs. So I don't think we necessarily need to go with a guy like CEH in a lineup like this because we don't really need to be super different. Well, I guess we kind of do. I don't know. What do you think, McKinnon or CEH here?
McKinnon.
All right, McKinnon. That leaves a 7,400 total.
Let's put in. Okay. So go ahead and let's see, 7,400. What if we throw in Byron Pringle? What does that give us left?
Byron. Let's see, 5,200, 2,200. That gets us Perine, Gore, Williams, Gray to rotate these guys out.
Okay, go down to Hardman. What does that do? Get us up to D-Rob at least? It's not. It should.
2,800. Nope.
Oh, no, it's just short. All right, go to Butker, and then it's D-Rob. These 1-5s are gonna be tough, especially with Hill.
D-Rob. Yeah. All right. So let's go to a more balanced lineup here. Let's do one of our chalky guys. Let's do one of our captains, or quarterback captains.
Yeah. Okay. Throw in Pat.
Let's balance it out a little bit.
Travis Kelce. And let's throw in Joe Burrow. Let's see actually how hard it is to do this. I think we go Tyler Boyd, right?
You got to. At least one of these guys. 9,200.
Can we go T. Higgins?
Yeah, you probably could. You're fucked kind of. You're going down to Darrell Williams, who might not even play, or Noah Gray. You're super punting.
What about this? Higgins, yeah, do it. You know what I was going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Play the fucking tight end.
3,600. What does that get us? That gets us
DeMarcus Robinson
defense or DeMarcus Robinson. So this is a little bit more of a balanced lineup. You got a 3-3. It's not bad.
Swap Burrow and Mahomes.
All right, let's do that.
I think you should be able to get to like at least Butker.
Patty.
Yeah.
4K. Oh, look at that, dude.
McPherson.
It's McPherson. Hey, not bad.
Yeah, I'll take it. That's actually not a terrible lineup. 4-2.
That's a solid lineup.
Yeah.
Solid lineup. All right, let's get crazy with this shit now. Let's go down to Kelce. Let's see how easy or not easy it is to build with him. Let's put in both quarterbacks and see what we can do. Now we got to make a decision here. We can't go Hill. I mean, you could, but you probably want to go with Jamar Chase in this case, don't you?
Yes, but hold on. Throw in Hill. I think we can do something. Throw in Hill. Throw in Dave Thomas, and then Evan McPherson. Yeah, I mean that's not a terrible lineup, dude.
Mike Thomas. Where the fuck is he at? There he is. And McPherson. Hey.
And you got Butker if you want.
Or Butker. Oh, all right. You're expecting. You're literally the only thing. Like you're just expecting a 0 out of Mike Thomas. It might not matter.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you have Hill and Kelce. If this is a blowout in any way, like.
Well, let's try Jamar Chase instead of Hill.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's try let's go up to like a guy like Noah Gray or even Chris Evans. It could be either one of these guys. But let's just go Noah Gray for now. 4,400 that gets you Harrison, but it's the same situation. So you just kind of rotate these guys out pretty much.
Well, not really. Not here. I disagree with you. So if you go down to Dave Thomas.
Okay.
And you get Tyler Boyd.
Oh shit.
And you also get Nicole Hardman too, if you want, right?
Yeah, if you want to be a little bit more balanced.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know, man. This is actually a pretty interesting slate to build on.
We have to have like a warning though, like don't play Mike Thomas that much. Like just
no.
Examples.
He's a $200 placeholder in this example. If he's the fourth active receiver and they don't really have anybody else though, like I absolutely don't mind playing.
Yeah, I don't either. We've seen Mike Thomas do things last year specifically. All right, let's go down to let's do it, man. Let's go down to our guy Tyler Boyd at captain. Let's see what we can do. Let's just jam in all the studs, captains or both quarterbacks. Do you want Tyreek or do you want Kelce here?
Let's go Chase Kelce.
Chase Kelce. 2,400. What does that get us? It gets us P. Ryan, Gore, Williams.
Yeah, that's not that exciting. So what happens if we go to Higgins from Chase?
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to need to do here. Let's try it. Higgins, 7,800. Let's pop him in. That gets us 4,600. Does that get us Mecole Hardman? Or the kickers?
I like that. Okay, now go from Higgins to Uzoma and go from Kelce to Hill.
There you go. Can we do it? We sure fucking can.
And then we can go from Hardman to
Can you get up to McKinnon? Or no, you can get up to Boyd, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So Hardman or the kickers. So, do that.
I still don't mind. Let's see. You got this might be an interesting one for Evan McPherson, to be honest with you.
Let me see.
4-2.
McPherson. It's not bad. Are you sort of going out of your way to leave salary on the table for the slate? Not if you got Tyler Boyd at captain, it doesn't matter. But is that sticking out to you today?
Yeah, absolutely. Unless I have an absolute punt that I'm comfortable with, like Mike Thomas, that's coming in at 2-3%. You're absolutely gonna have to leave salary on the table. Don't be scared to leave $500,000. This is just a scary slate to do it on.
I know, man. I know. That was actually not bad. That was a lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't call it easy, but that wasn't nearly as bad as some of the recent ones we've done.
We've had tougher slates for sure.
If Darrell Williams is active, it might make things a little bit easier because he's a straight up dart throw. We don't even know if he'll see the field, but if he's active, I'm going to be interested in him because he's been the number one running back for many weeks this year. He's injured. We don't know what to expect from him. So based on what we're doing here, man, what are you trying to, what kind of rules, what kind of thoughts are you doing as you're getting into building? Is there anything sticking out to you? I know we've already talked about it, but some people skip around the show a little bit. So let's reiterate what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so I think to summarize my strategy today for this particular slate is going to be I want both quarterbacks. I want probably a minimum of one pass catcher from each team, but I'm not going to be afraid to get exposure to the running backs. And I know we didn't do any builds with Joe Mixon in particular, but that's obviously because we were prioritizing the wide receivers. But don't forget about the guy. Joe Mixon can... Jesus, why is it so hard for me to say Joe Mixon can?
English, motherfucker.
JoJo should be able to get involved in a lot of the different aspects of the game that he needs to help alleviate pressure on Joe Burrow. So don't forget about him. He'll probably come in a little bit lower on just because of the amount of chalk that's on the slate today.
We've got a giveaway, guys. We haven't hit our goal yet. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers. I'm giving away a Joe Burrow select premier level base graded card and a Justin Herbert. So I'm giving away 2 of those. So all you gotta do is comment down below your favorite captain choice, and if you want to add value, your favorite value choice to that, awesome. When we hit 500 subscribers, we'll give that away. So subscribe, like, we need 10 subscribers. Let's try to give this away on Sunday. That'd be awesome. All right, guys, take it easy. We will see you later.